I thought I married an ordinary man, until I discovered he was a billionaire living a secret life. My name is Una. 3 years ago, I fell in love with the sweetest man I had ever met. His name was Kang Min. He wasn't rich. At least that's what I believed. He drove an old car, lived in a small apartment, and worked long hours every day. We didn't have much money, but we were happy, or so I thought. Every morning, he kissed my forehead before leaving for work. Every night, he came home with tired eyes and a warm smile. He was my entire world. Then one day, everything changed. I accidentally left my phone at home and returned to get it. That's when I saw a black luxury limousine parked outside. Several men in expensive suits stood beside it, and in the middle of them was my husband. But he looked different, confident, powerful, like someone I had never met before. One of the men bowed respectfully. "Chairman Kang, the board meeting is ready." "Chairman?" My heart stopped. I followed the limousine, and what I discovered shattered my world. My husband wasn't an ordinary office worker. He was Kang Min, the billionaire CEO of one of Korea's largest companies. For 3 years, he had hidden his true identity from me. Tears filled my eyes. Had our marriage been a lie? Had he ever truly loved me? That night, I confronted him. "Who are you?" My voice trembled. Kang Min lowered his head. For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. "I wanted you to love me for me, not for my money. I wanted to be angry. I wanted to hate him." But then he handed me an old photograph. It was a picture of me, taken years before we met. I looked confused. Then he smiled sadly. "I fell in love with you long before you knew my name." My tears began falling faster. He explained everything. How people had always chased his wealth, how every relationship felt fake, how I was the first person who loved him without knowing he was rich. That's why he hid the truth, not because he wanted to deceive me, but because he was terrified of losing the only real love he had ever found. At that moment, I finally understood. The man I married wasn't his money, wasn't his company, wasn't his fame. The man I married was the same man who held my hand when I was scared, the same man who stayed awake when I was sick, the same man who loved me every single day. I stepped closer, placed my hand on his cheek, and whispered, "You should have trusted me." Kang Min's eyes filled with tears. Then he pulled me into his arms. And for the first time, there were no secrets between us, only love. Ending line. Sometimes the greatest love story isn't finding the right person. It's learning to trust the person you already love. Viral title: I discovered my husband was a secret billionaire.